Boom. Hey everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit. And I just threw this guy together out of a Daredevil I was never going to use for anything else. And I just, I added a holster and, gave him a gun on his hand and a sword and that's just baby wipes, dry baby wipes I used to make his stuff. That's a little piece of plastic from a sprue on his face. And there's actually 2 pieces of little gems back there in his eyes that you can't see. But this was my attempt at making like a NPC for the Scraplands to kind of give them some information and help them for now. Travels them for a short while to do some tasks. So I'm going to get a piece of cardboard and a makeup brush. And I'm going to dry brush him in white. There was no video last night. I was recording one and I cut myself really bad. Like, really bad. And I'm on blood thinners. So, that video kind of got scrapped. And I was going to make a video making him, but I was originally going to melt plastic to a miniature and it was going to be unsafe. So I didn't want to do that on film. Because, I wouldn't want like a younger viewer or somebody with special needs or somebody to see me doing something really dangerous. And I ended up not even doing it. Once I got started, I saw there was no need, but I just didn't want anybody to get hurt, because of me doing something stupid, so I didn't make the video. Just brushing my clean all the way. It's got a little bit of a pink tone to it. I made that gun out of a piece of sprue, a paper clip, and a piece of board game board. Not a paper clip, a sprue, a toothpick, and the scope is a toothpick, the barrel is a sprue, and the game board piece is the buttstock. So this guy is like a scrap ranger, kind of. He doesn't have a pet or anything that I know of, but he's a scrap ranger. And he lives in the scrap, and he gets water out of the scrap, and eats bugs, and doesn't trust society. But he has places he trades scrap to for anemones that he can't find. He knows where lots of good weapon stashes are and stuff. Something like that should be a good start for what I need. So I want his cloak. Sorry, I'm just grabbing a rag to wipe my brush out. Ah, shit. I want his cloak to be like a metallic brown, probably. His sword is just a piece of this ricotta cheese lid. That gun came off another Hero Click. So, if you don't have Hero Click parts, making stuff like this can be hard, but if you do, it's really not a lot of effort. I have a metallic brown over here, but I think it's empty or dry. There's a little bit in there. Let's see if I can use this to save myself some work. Let me get my brush wet. This isn't quite as dark as I wanted, but I have some of the brown I used in the base coating. I'm going to mix that in with that brown, that little bit of metallic brown I have left. I went to go purchase more of my metallic brown, but Walmart didn't have it. Okay. And we want this to have multiple coats, so I'm going to do a dry brush of something else on it to give it more of a metallic look, I'm thinking. This would be, for those of you non-metallic metal guys, this would be a good, making a metallic looking cloak that's not metallic might be a good project for you guys to try. I've done some non-metallic metals in the past, but especially when I was doing like World War II stuff, but it's not my bag. I'm not patient, and I don't think it looks all that good, really. I think that putting that much effort into a miniature is a waste of time and money. Well, not money, I guess, but time and effort. But some people like that stuff, and for you guys that are trying to display things, you're in a different boat than I am, I'm not displaying shit. I'm just getting on the table. We got an adventure to do. for those of you guys that are actually taking the time to make quality miniatures that can be, you know, something to enter into contests and shit. And if I was doing a contest, I don't know if I would even do non-metallic metal. I might do metallic, layered metallic or something. I don't even know. It's hard to tell. It really just depends on how I want to paint, because I'm not like I used to be. Everything's not so hardcore. It's got to be this way like it used to be. I'm going to get a tiny dab of that white. I'm going to lighten that up a little bit. I'll grab a little more of that metallic out of there. A little more of that brown is too light. A little bit of white does a lot for saturation, unfortunately. And even though this isn't going to be completely dry, like a true dry brush, I'm going to wet blend a little bit. Some of those raised areas. Some of the highest spots. Some of the sticky outy pieces, if you will. And I think that's going to dry and give it a good look. Those garments underneath are probably armored in some way. I'm going to get a little bit of whatever this stuff is. Ancient copper. I'm going to grab a smaller brush to work with. I'm going to water that down. I'm going to do his arms in that. Not his gloves, just his arms. Not much arm sticking out on that side. Okay, I'm going to do his pants in that too. Real thin. Cool. That's gonna do. It's gonna work good into his camo scheme. Now I'm gonna do his boots and pavement. And his gloves too. Just gonna use it out of the lid here. My pavement's pretty wet, so I'm not even gonna sweat thinning it out. My brush is slightly damp. and do the gloves. Now I made some mistakes when I was doing the gloves, and I accidentally got some of the baking soda in the joint between the gloves and the sword, and I didn't want to cut limbs off and start over, so I just decided to, you know, from a distance you're not going to notice, so I just decided to let it go. This is his gun hand. And what happened was, there's actually a fist under here that you can't see. Under that. It's an unfortunate side effect of doing a shitty job and rushing. Then I'm going to do this holster on his hip here. In that pavement. Man, do I love pavement. And he's got some kind of pouch or something on this side. I'm going to do that in pavement too for now. Okay. Now there's a little bit of stuff white sticking out underneath I'm seeing now under the robe and stuff. So to get that cleaned up, I'm just going to get my dark brown and whatever I have left over here. I'm just going to dibby dab that stuff up to clean it up so it doesn't look white. That's all I'm doing. Is just making the white go away. Cleaning up a little bit. I got a little bit of silver up on his, not silver, a little copper up on there. I'm going to clean that up. All right. I think I'm going to do the barrel of the gun in this pavement for now. And I'm going to do a metallic on it later. Just going to base coat it in this nice looking dark gray though. I really, really love pavement. And I just love any opportunity I have to use it. In real life, when people ask my favorite color is red, but my favorite paint color is pavement. I think we got it pretty much covered there. Might as well grab that brown, that dark brown. There's a little bit of pavement in that, and do the buttstock on this rifle. Now this isn't supposed to be like a modern nice rifle. This rifle just fires any kind of manufactured ball of metal that's 20 millimeter. It's not like a, you know, something that he recovered. It's something that he kind of made. And it's just funny because for him, it's just, you know, he made it and it works. But other people looking at it are probably going to be pretty judgy. This is dark blue-gray. I'm going to use this on his other gun. Differentiate the colors. And on the sword blade. Okay. Then I'm going to dry them off. Actually, before I dry them off, let me do some stuff on the base. So I'm going to get my dark brown. I'm going to come around on the base and re-brownify a lot of that, not touching his boots if I can help it. Just getting that scrap and garbage kind of browned up again. I'm going to get that metallic, mix that in and kind of drag that around in there too and change things up a little bit, make it a little more interesting. Look, I got some on his damn boot. This boot's dry, so in theory, I should be able to just get that off real easy. I'm going to use a piece of of baby wipe. Kind of remove that. Okay. Back to what I was doing. Get that metallic. Kind of get it around in that brown a little bit, creating some variation. I'm just blending it in there. Trying to make it a little more interesting than it was. And then I'm just dragging it up onto the 3D stuff a little bit here and there. I'm going to tap the sides of the base with it in some spots. Then I want to lighten that up. I'm going to get a little bit of white. A little bit more of that metallic. That's pretty light. I'm going to gudge around on some of this 3D stuff. Just on the highest points. Then I'm just going to add some variation on the base in some spots. Okay. Now we'll dry them off. Sorry you guys were coming here to see me craft something. Alright, so I don't like it the way his arms look for sure, but it's a little late for me to do too much about it right now. So I'm going to come here, and on that dark gray, I'm going to use a medium gray. This is uniform gray. And this is just a miniature paint by Army Painter. I do have a color over there called pewter gray that could do the same thing, but I'm not going to use it. I'm going to use this. I'm going to wipe a lot of that off. Just like that. And I'm going to drag it along his boots and just pick up any kind of 3D kind of detail there might be, any variation in elevation. Just dark, give this a little bit of something. His gloves with that, his pouches with that. I'm going to dab it on his weapons a little bit. I'm going to get it on his face mask too. His little eyes are back there. Can't really see him, and I don't think you'll see him on the miniature, so I'm not going to paint him, but I can see him. Those look better in red. Okay, now for this copper part, see how it's just too bright? I knew that was going to be that way, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of speed paint, a little bit of a darker brown. This is called hardened metal. I'm just going to get a little bit of that, and I'm going to go over that with it, and that's going to make it look super fucking cool. Gives it a real rich tone. Just like that. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I'll hold them up when we're done, though. I'm not giving a painting tutorial anyways. I'm just painting a miniature and recording it so I can throw content out there today. It's not my normal content. get his arm. And the other arm didn't have any showing. It's going to have a nice little look. My brush is pretty wet. I'm going to grab some of that. I'm also going to do his buttstock of his weapon in it to darken that up. And it's going to be a different color because the undertone is different. I don't really so much want this pulling up. I want to stain it. So I don't want to put it on so thick that it's like getting into the pools. And you'll see why. I'm just making it brown. Okay. Not bad. Now I'm going to get a metallic speed paint. This is a silver color called Broadsword Silver. You don't need a whole lot of this for a project like this. If you were doing a big robot, I probably would just do it in silver, then use any kind of washout on it afterwards. But okay. And we're going to hit our gun over here with it. We're going to thin this out pretty good before we put it on the gun. Miss that spot that's supposed to be the hand the best you can. I think I want to hit his mask with that too. Make it real careful not to get it anywhere else. All right, I'm going to get that metallic and that brown, and I'm going to mix those together a little bit. Just like that. Make a new color. I'm going to use that on his holster over here. And on his little pouch on this side. Okay. Then on the boots. All I need to do is gun on the back. The gun part. I'm going to use the silver by itself. Thinly. Do a scope. Real careful. Make sure I don't touch that brown I did back there or it will bleed together. I'm going to do the barrel of his gun. Okay. Now let's get his gloves dealt with. Now I like blue for stuff like this, so I'm going to use some blue speed paint. I have one up here called Beowulf Blue, and I did use it yesterday and I like the way it looks, so I'm going to get a little bit of this Beowulf Blue for his boots and gloves. And over that gray in two tones, I'm hoping that it looks really good. I might not do the blue on the gloves, actually. I might just use the blue on the boots and do something else to the gloves. Because finding matching clothing out here is hell. I do like that blue on there, though. But we can't use it for both. So for the gloves, I'm going to use Shamrock Green. Yeah, right? We're going to need a paint mixer. Yeah, I have not used this in a while, to my knowledge. Though I might have. Last night I made 5 Ravengers, which are like Scrapland's bad guys. And I think they turned out pretty good. I'm hesitant to show them because I did something kind of perverted on them. Because as a joke in our group, the lore is that the Ravengers are obsessed. They have like low intelligence and they're obsessed with penises. So if you were to find like a big rubber pink marital aid in an old building or wherever, they decorate themselves with those, and it's kind of like a symbol of authority. So like their leaders and their king and stuff like that, their war chiefs wear adornments with giant pink marital aids on them. And the brighter or more obnoxious the color, like for fuck's sake, if you found like a rainbow one, they'd probably make you their emperor. But for the video, I was just showing the 3 that don't have any of that kind of stuff on them, and I will show you those guys. Okay, so that green's a little brighter than I wanted, but I think it'll be okay. Okay. Now we need to clean up the edge of that sword so it looks sharpened. To do that, I'm just going to get the brightest silver I have, which is called Shining Silver. Let me get a dab of that. I'm going to paint up my edge. And all I do when I paint up my edge is I just follow it along. Try to make it consistent. This guy's intentionally sharpening his sword on not just a random rock he found. He's, putting the effort in to make a professional edge. Unlike the other guy I made. I'm going to come back with that. I'm going to do a little line here on his scope. Lighten that up a little bit. Just to give it some variation. I'm going to do a couple little dots on his gun with this too. My power's flickering. I hope my power doesn't go out. I'm going to hit this piece here to make it look kind of like it's the trigger mechanism, just real lightly. Then I'm going to come back and do those eyes in red. Let me get a miniature brush, some bright red mini paint. Doop. Something like that. I got a little bit too much in there. I don't think I can get it out. So I'm going to drag the other one up to kind of match it. That makes them a little cartoony. But since you look at them from an angle down, not straight up, you won't really notice that, I'm thinking. Now, I wanted to put a wash on him. I'm worried it's just going to make him too dark. So let's come back and do that last step I need to do and lighten up his armor, or his cloak. So lighten up his cloak. I'm getting some of this metallic here and some of this white. A little more brown if I need it. I'm wipe a lot of that off my brush. I'm going to come across here and just kind of clean that up. Just like that. Now, he's shiny. When I hit him with my clear coat, he won't be shiny. So keep that in mind. And that didn't take forever. It Took me about 5 minutes to make him, maybe 10 minutes to make him, maybe 25 minutes to paint him up, 30 minutes to paint him up. Not even a great paint job. But once I clear coat him, I think he's going to look good on my scraplands. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, and all the happy crappy that keeps the channel growing. For fudge's sake, leave me a comment. Even if it's I hate you, Doom, or your painting sucks, Doom, whatever it is, I don't care. Leave me a comment. And play this backwards if you want some more crafting tips and the hidden secret messages at the end of the video. And before I say my last two things, here's one of the Ravengers I made last night. Here's one. Here's one. And the last two, I'm just going to briefly zoom across the screen. And then here's our guy we worked on. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.